right? If Velvet and I are fencing and it's a real duel, in martial concept, as soon as we are fencing and I go, ha! And I have stabbed him. Is he dead yet? No, he's not. That does not mean that's not an off switch. He's not going to, like a German World War II where they immediately die as soon as you get hit. No, it is. I hit him. My sword is now bound in his body. When the body is punctured, it has a tendency to close itself around that which has penetrated the body. That's a suction, right? Now, never mind the fact that in the midst of my attack that's hitting him, I'm burning time where my weapon is no longer defending me. But in a martial context, there's also going to be some resistance when I'm trying to withdraw. It's just the way the body works. It's a bag of water, right? So he has time that he can take me with him, couldn't he? I don't want that. That's no good, right? So I'm going to show you the adaptive dagger in an offensive context, how you stay alive while you're doing it. And also, let's face it, in an SCA context, we've all run into this person. That other fencer who just dies slowly. You know what I mean? You hit them and they go, oh, good double, yeah, right. We've all run into it. We've all seen that person, okay? So, but if you never gave them the opportunity to be able to hit you in the first place, if only one person gets hit, that's really kind of definitive, isn't it? So, line again, face each other. Now this time, right, jump in.
I want a video because I want to get this part of it.
Sure. Okay, well, I will demonstrate with. Okay, so I don't have a dagger in my hand. It's not gonna change. Don't worry, it's not going to change at all. Watch. On guard. With this configuration that she has here, here's the means by which that I would defend myself. Let's say, in fact, let's start with the most common. She is a typical common high guard fencer, right? Likes to hold this high guard configuration. No move. False location. So, here I am. When I attack her, my sword, in this particular instance, I'm going to do what's called a stringer attack. I'm going to gain her blade, and then I'm going to hold her here while I attack to whatever chest, head, whatever I feel like at the time. But watch what this does when I do that. I do that because I'm cutting off that avenue for a number of reasons. One, maybe she's the kind of person who dies slowly. Maybe she launches into an attack against me just by happenstance at the exact same time I launch against her. You're not going to really know that, but you don't want to find out the hard way, right? Especially if this was a martial context. So, on guard, put that up there. So I got a dagger in my hand now. If I was to, and here's my normal stance right that I like to come out there with, but watch what happens in slow motion. This is what it looks like when I attack that particular guard. Yep. Just in case. Let's say she's a mid guard. Here's how I will attack that particular case. Right now, I know you're drifting back to what you feel like, but you're a mid guard fighter now, right? Feel all the knowledge flowing into you. Now she's mid guard. Here's how I'm going to attack this. Say I look at the same target. I'm going to look just like this. That's what I'm going to do. Cut off that straight line attack that she has to me, which is the shortest path. So while I'm doing my attack, she can come off of that dagger and come around, but it's the long path. Lots of time is being burned in fencing time for her to do that. I'm telling you, I'm already in and out in the amount of time it takes her to do that. Okay? Does everybody understand that? So now, let's have you, sorry, no worries, you can say
That's
it.
right.
Okay, so now we're going to do that in practice. Here we go. So everybody, line up in your party. Who's better than bro? Okay. So, what you're going to do now is everybody on this side. Okay, everyone's on your guard right here. Now, everybody on that side. Choose how you're going to engage your sword against their sword when you attack, and then put your dagger where you think their second pathway is. So go ahead and attack me. Watch her. Attack me. Now, where would your hand go, do you think, right now? Where's this? Aha! There we go. Now, very good. See, now what she's doing is using her open hand, her off hand, to be locking out that straight line path, so I can't just simply going straight for her. She's cutting off. If you need to go and take care of your go. Yep, we'll do it. No worries. No worries. Okay, so here we go. Everybody on your guard stance. Everybody on this side is going to receive the attack, okay? So you won't really have to do anything. People on this side are going to do the offending. So, everybody on this side, reach your sword out to them in such a fashion that you have dealt with their sword. Your sword deals with their sword. You're just going to stand and hold it. Now, as you go into the rest of that attack, where does your dagger go? And don't actually hit your opponent, just get closer as if you were going to make that attack. And show me where the dagger goes. Yes, she's got the right idea. Very good, very good. Good, show me. Now, you want to continue to do it short, but you don't want to fall into the floor. Look at that. You just go right. So you've got it here. Now, reach forward. And your dagger will go. Okay. Okay. So now let's try and reverse that so the other side has an opportunity to do that. So again, on your guard stances, ready? So now the opposite line is going to be doing the offending. So extend your sword in an attack posture that deals with your opponent's sword. We cut off one avenue, but there are two now, aren't there? So show me where your dagger goes to keep them from hitting you on this secondary. Here you go. Now, without moving, nobody move, just turn your eyes this way. You see this dagger here? It's absolutely perfect except for the angle. If you did this, you'll notice she's free and fair. So because she's here, there's the angle. Now he's locked her out. Remember what I said, don't worry about perfect. Trust me, sparring is going to teach you that you weren't perfect. You just simply need to see where you need to tweak it. Okay? Alright, so again, on your guard stances, again, same side, extend your sword so as you deal with your weapon, and then show that offensive dagger placement. Where does it go?
So, another recommendation as well for dealing with lefties. So,
don't actually touch them, you're just showing the configuration. There you go. Okay, everybody relax. Separate.
the problem with the lefties, it's
Okay.
very easy for them to sneak on the side here.
Like I said, the stuff we're talking about here,
And when they come off,
you know, like a mid-level experience
on the side. You can also do something like this, which is my preferred way.
in order to be able to understand these
He
concepts.
does go
But
straight in both your weapons.
the understanding of it at a macroscopic level
Because he's
is
stuck
not
on
hard.
right, but
The implementation
generally
takes
they're going
a
to go
little bit of
around, try
practice.
and
Okay?
angle around before.
Right. I'm just going to let Rusty's here.
Thanks.
Okay. All right. Are there any questions on that? Okay. So, go ahead.
One of your demonstrations against the mid guard, you aim sword with the dagger rather
Yep.
than the sword.
Yep.
Is that normal just a mid guard, or is that just more of an adaptive thing?
That's an adaptive thing because let me put it to you this way. So his question was, when I was demonstrating it from the perspective of a mid-guard swordsman and I was engaging that person, and I used my dagger to engage their sword, is that pretty much how you always do that? No, that's an interpretation based upon, that's an artistic expression based upon what my opponent reveals. What you don't want to do is this. Where are you? If he's this mid-guard swordsman, and his sword is way out here, I will absolutely use my dagger to reach out and engage his sword because he's already given it to me. If he's a mid-guard swordsman, and he likes to fight in a bit more refused of a stance, you'll notice this sword's now a little bit farther away from my dagger to just reach out and engage. So I'm not, in this instance, going to throw my sword on that because there's options for him to time and take some across that distance. From an artistic standpoint, I would more likely do something like this. And don't worry, I'm not going to hit you. I would more likely do something along the lines of engaging this, where I would strike and then go for the inclination. And then where his sword gets out of the way, I'm going to stick my dagger in place. Because I can tell you right now, when you knock something aside, what path is that sword coming back on? It's going to come back on the exact same path. It's an instinct. It's a reflex of anybody. If I'm standing here and I push on her, she automatically resists. It's an instinct. It's not something that somebody can just go, oh, I'm not going to do that. They have to. It is an instinct. So if I strike his weapon out of the way, I can now have this line forward, and in the same instant, I will replace the dagger in the way. So when his sword comes back, he will strike my dagger. That's a little bit further, but yes, that is the question. All right. Are there any other questions on that? Okay, so just to recap that last part, if I could borrow my sword and my dagger. Now, come here, another dagger. There we go. Okay, so note. Pull over it, but it doesn't matter. I can say how it'll be respected of that dagger, right? Put my sword and the dagger up in here. The person attacks my leg. Here's what my response will be. I used my sword, I parried their weapon, I locked out the secondary pathway. If he lands here, my sword will seek his body. If he lands here, my sword will seek his leg. You notice what he did determined where I hit him. Because it is not something where I'm on guard. He lunges for my leg. Because if I let him go now, he can get me while I hit him. And it's not good enough for me to get a lethal blow and then he gets a non-lethal blow. Because back in the day, that could have been a lethal blow. It just took me longer to die. And he has the luxury of dying more quickly. So, where that ended up going, look at this of an aside, but very important. He attacks my leg, get to here, and notice as I attack the leg, watch what happens. I keep the whole architecture in place as I make my attack against him. Because if I let this go, at any point in time after this, I'm sorry. If he attacks the torso, now you know where my tip is right now? This is a dead man right here. Yeah, this is a dead man here. I've locked him out high, I've locked him out low, and he's not going to have time to do anything except contemplate his life. Decisions that brought him to this point. Okay? On guard. He attacks me here. High. Right there. I've got him high, I've got him low. What he does determines whether or not I ventilate him in the face, or if he lands here, it's a definite ventilation. Okay? Your opponent has a say. All you gotta do is lock out all their options and let them decide how they're gonna die. Understand? That is the adapted dagger defense on guard. The adapted dagger offense is related, very similar, but slightly different. I might gather his weapon up, shoot forward and bind, and as it's coming forward, I will lay my dagger in the only pathway he has available, if he came off. He might come off deliberately, he might come off by accident, doesn't matter. We as swordsmen do not rely on luck to win the fight. Because in a martial context, let's face it, luck runs out. And it is not enough to be a lucky swordsman. You want to strive for that masterful strike. That is the strike that allows you to land and let your opponent with no available possibility to strike you in return. That is the mastery. Anything less is luck. Understand? Okay, questions? Okay, let's take 5 minutes, grab some water, and we'll continue. Appreciate it.